our special guest today is another one of the fabulous folks that we met at San Diego Comic-Con. And oh, you do the intro, Keisha. I'm like, you're always better at that than I am.
Oh, he's an amazing person. When we met him, it took me a second to go, wait, Morgan Hampton, I know that name. I know that name. I was already reading Green Lantern Corps. And so
Yeah.
this interview I've been excitedly, patiently waiting for quite some time because one, I love this run. It's gotten me into Green Lantern, and I just think that he's a dope person all around. So we are gonna welcome the amazingly super dope, super talented Morgan.
Hello, hello.
First of all, congrats on the grad school decision.
That's big time.
Yeah, um, mm, we are in the thick of things right now. Putting that application together. It is interesting, but yeah, super excited. I know that you got your master's too, right? Like,
Yeah, I just graduated last year with my master's in TV writing and producing. It
Period.
was hard, but it was great. It was a good time.
dope,
Okay,
dope.
what words of encouragement can you share with Keisha at this stage of her process?
Oh man, I mean, I think this goes for every stage of the process, but just be kind to yourself because grad school is no joke, but like you can absolutely do it. It's hyper focused dedication all the time. Lean into your people when you can, because that's what they're there for. Because you're gonna need it, but you can absolutely do it. If I can do it, literally you can do it. I'm the worst student of all time, so you can absolutely do it.
You can't say worst student of all time because I saw like, didn't you win an award or something like for one of your films?
Yeah, but I mean that's film school. Like I'm talking about just like up until I got my master's or up until I got my bachelor's, I'd say I was not a great student. Like all through high school and all that, I graduated on fumes.
What films?
Yeah.
Listen, graduated is graduated.
That part.
Congratulations. People in the
Thank
chat
you.
congratulating you as well, Morgan. That's amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
and thank you for pouring into Keisha because she deserves every drop of it. And I'm so incredibly proud of her. And I can't wait for her to just kick ass. So, yes, very much. I love that all of the people who have done the thing are rallying around her because that's support that I can't give her, but I know she needs. So, period. But yeah, we're so grateful that you took the time to come and kick it with us. This has kind of been, she said patiently, it hasn't been patiently. She's been very gassed about this interview, and I love that for her. So I'm glad that we're finally doing it. Um, I love when it's like you see somebody, you see their skill set, you see what they do, their accolades, and then you meet them in real life and they're like super humble, super dope, very chill, just like genuine people to be around. And that was our experience meeting you. So I was like, you know what? Whatever he's doing, I'm supporting everybody black. And then when I found out it was Green Lantern, I was like, oh, pop off, say less. So yeah, before we get into all of the things that you have going on right now, one thing that we love to do with all of our guests is find out what was your comic book origin story. So like how did you get into enjoying comics? And then the second piece of that question is what was the origin story that of how you got into creating comics?
Yeah, those are all great questions. I'd say overall, I got into comics through like the animated shows when I was a kid, like Teen Titans, Justice League, the animated series. Um, that's what kind of introduced me to the characters. But reading comics specifically, like my dad used to have these long boxes of comics in his basement, and I would just go through those, and they were all stuff that was like not necessarily full runs, So I was just looking at the art and admiring that and smelling the pages. I'm a big advocate of smelling comic book pages.
Yes, come
Um,
through, Big Sniffer.
so yeah, I think one of the first things in comics that got me really interested was I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the late '90s, I think it was Dan Jurgens. He had this kind of like offshoot or like alternate universe called Tangent Comics at DC, where it
Okay.
was like a lot of the same characters in name, but they had different origin stories. So like it was really interesting to me because I understood who Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash were, but like I was seeing different iterations of them, and
Yeah.
it introduced me to the multiverse for the first time, which like it made my mind explode. And I was like, I need more of this all the time. And then in terms of me creating comics on my own, it's kind of crazy. Like in hindsight, I think I really didn't know I wanted to do this since I was like 8 or 9 years old because I was making my own comic books. Like that's what I did for fun. I'm an only child. I like being in my own space. I was just in my room, cutting up paper, drawing with crayon and making origin stories for little characters that I made. And fast forward to when I started to take writing seriously, like comics was the first thing that I wanted to try out over any other medium. So yeah.
Okay, so that a couple things. One of them is one time for the book sniffers. We are big supporters of Book Sniffers Anonymous around here. One of our t-shirts that's a part of our merch says "Bust that omnibussy wide open" because we have a joke about like sniffing
Smelling them.
omnibus.
Yeah,
A sniff. So
love
I
that.
feel like you need that merch quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're gonna have to set
Yes,
that
I
up.
do.
But another thing that I was curious about, I love that you knew that this was something that you wanted to do from a young age and that you were creating like characters and stories at that time. I'd love to hear like if you can recall, like give us like a brief plot of like one of your OG stories from when you were little, and then tell us a bit about your first like professional comic book endeavor as a creator.
Yeah, so my first character that I ever created, his name was Laser Kid.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is they were all ripoffs of, like Marvel and DC characters, just my own versions of them. But now that I think about it, like Laser Kid looked a lot like the Green Lantern. Like he was green. He had a full mask, kind of like Simon Baz. But his powers were shooting lasers, kind of like how Green Lanterns shoot, constructs and stuff out of their ring. So that's actually funny. I never put those two things together. But yeah, like I made an origin story for him. He got his powers from some meteor that fell from space and it gave him laser powers. I don't know what the correlation was there. But yeah, every single one that I would make would be an origin story, and I don't think I had like the focus to go past that. So I just had like 10 origin stories for 10 different characters, and that was it.
Period.
And then from professional, I'll say, and I'll include this because I think it's important for people to know that like self-publishing is also professional publishing. So like
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
when I first started, when I wanted to do this in a professional way they would pay me, I started just making my own shorts at the age of, I was in my early 20s. So, like, right after I graduated undergrad, so like 22 ish.
Yes.
Um, I want to give credit to David Walker, if you know him. He's co-writer and creator of co-writer and co-creator of Bitter Root at Image Comics.
Yeah.
I remember cold emailing him in, it was like 2017, and I'm just like, yo, essentially, I want to do what you do. How do I do that? And he was like, go to conventions because I'd never been to a convention before. He's like, go to conventions, meet other artists that are starting out just like you or on the same level as you, and see like make a short comic book with them. And he was like, he had an emphasis on doing short comics because um, for people just getting started out, everyone has this like magnum opus they want to do, but it's so easy to get like lost in the sauce and then you never finish anything. So he
Yeah.
was like, focus on 10 to 12 page shorts, and that way you get your reps in, right? You start a story, you work on it, you get to the end, and then you start over and you get your reps in, you get better every time. And I
Yeah.
took that advice and I one upped him a little bit, and every little short that I did, I found a new artist to work with. So that way I was also working with different artists and learning how to navigate how different artists are, because every artist is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um, and how they like to, read a script and what they want in a script. And then I also try to tackle a different genre every time too, so I can kind of like build this as a resume
Yeah.
for what I can do essentially. And then in 2021 during COVID, DC put out the thing about the Milestone Initiative, which was a call out to anyone. You didn't have to have any professional experience or even have made a comic before, but it was an application process where you basically had to write, I think it was a 5 or 8 page comic with Icon and Rocket from the Milestone universe. But it also helped that I had comics that I can show them as well. So I included that like 5 or 6 years worth of self-publishing work that I did in that application, and I guess the rest is history.
Yes, let's
That's
go.
amazing.
Right?
That is absolutely amazing.
That's very for
Oh,
one, I love that. I love the shoot your shot energy because we're the
right.
queens of that around these parts. It's just proof that like if you really want to go after something, like you have the tools, and if you don't have all the tools, it doesn't hurt to ask so you can gather more. That's epic. Also really love the community aspect of that because he didn't have to respond to you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
Yeah,
just dropping gems. Someone in the chat said that's OG advice right there.
Yeah.
We love it. Like
absolutely.
there's
And I
room
love
for
how, like,
everybody.
goal oriented you are. Like, you were like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna, like, this is the plan. I know what I want. I'm shooting for it. I'm doing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
That,
then
that,
you're like, I'm gonna build on what he already told me. Like, let me make myself more versatile on top of these instructions he gave me. Like, let me make it harder so that harder or more work, more difficult so that I can be better whichever angle I come at this. That's iconic.
yeah. You Goku in the gravitational chamber. Like, I like that.
That's funny.
Big facts. Oh
Yeah,
man,
I
I love
think a
that.
lot of being a creative person in general is you have to really you can't just want it, you have to need it because like being a creative is really hard
Yeah.
and it's really counterintuitive to living a peaceful life. So you have to really need to do it to be
Yeah.
successful. So I think that's where that comes from.
That's
That's what's
fair.
up. All
Yeah.
right. So, like, I mean, now you are working on Green Lantern Corps. Like, I guess one, how did we get that? How did you get that? Like, did you have Green Lantern core history prior to that? Because that is a lot of information to take in. Like, what
Yeah.
was the research like?
Yeah. So I'll say that to answer your first question, like I don't even know how I got here, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's just it's how this industry works, you know. Like I did Cyborg at DC a couple years ago, and that was a 6 issue miniseries. And then I did a Star Trek book called Sons of Star Trek at IDW. And I
Good.
think, long story short, Paul Kaminsky, who's the group editor at DC in the Superman group, which is basically everything that's not Batman, he's in charge of. Um, he's a big Star Trek fan. And I just happened to reach out to him because I did have a Green Lantern pitch, but it was like for like a small thing because I was still trying to
Mhm.
be realistic about like what people were gonna give me for opportunities. So I was like, I have a 3 issue miniseries pitch. Can I send this to you? And he was like, oh yeah, Morgan, I love your Sons of Star Trek that you're writing right now. Absolutely, send me a pitch. So I sent him a pitch. Took about a month for him to answer, but he was like, yeah, this is great. And he's like, this is around the time when Jeremy had just got started on the main Green Lantern book. And he was
Mhm.
like, Green Lantern's been really successful. We think we're going to spin it off into another book. And at the time, what he told me is it was going to be a modular book, meaning that it was going to shift creative teams every couple issues. So there would be
Mm.
short arcs for every character and creative team. And he was like, I'd
Yeah.
love to pitch what you just pitched me as one of those modular arcs. And I was like, bet, I'm here for it. Another month goes by and he hits me up and he's like, hey, are you like ready to have a conversation about Green Lantern tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. He calls me. He's like, so some things have changed. It's no longer a modular book, and it's now an ongoing book, and it's going to be you and Jeremy writing it together. And I was like, what? Because I didn't know any of this was coming. Anyone was talking about it or anything. But I'm like, absolutely, I'm here for that. And that's kind of how we got here. In terms of like your question about the past, like obviously I've been a fan of a lot of the Green Lantern stuff. It does have some deep lore. So
Yeah.
like full disclosure, I have not read every issue of every run of Green Lantern Corps or Green Lantern, but I've done my research and it's fun. You know, I went back when me and Jeremy got started to a lot of the stuff in the '80s because that's when
Mm.
it started to really pop off and get weird. And I think space stuff should be weird.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm pulling a lot. I'm pulling a lot from that. I'd say from the '80s and early '90s runs of like Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps.
I love that. Like, the one thing about this run, first off, this is the first ongoing Green Lantern run that I've ever read. Like, my dad was a
Wow.
huge Green Lantern fan, and Like I grew up loving like Justice League and John Stewart specifically, but like
Yeah.
this is the first run that I read ongoing, and it made me fall in love with the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
And yeah, like y'all did a great job with all the characters. Like I've always had an issue. I mean, Breeze have this too, where we read something with Joe in it, and we're like, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't like. But I didn't feel that. Like
Yeah.
I felt like she had she has a solid place in this universe, and
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like nobody's taken away from her. Sorry, I'm rambling. I just want to give you your flowers, dude. Like
Thank
this is a great job. Like if you haven't read this run, it's absolutely phenomenal. It made me go into the movies and stuff to learn more. Hold on. LT is saying that was terrific how you brought those characters, Jake, Q, Alexander, and Nog together and somehow developed their characters in such a short run, especially Jake and Nog. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you. Yeah, that dream, I mean, that book was a dream come true, and to this day, I'm like, it's one of those things. Like now that I'm past it, it's like a year later, and I'm like, I can't believe I wrote that. Like I like that book. Like I grew so much as a writer, and like I was in the trenches, pretty heavy working on that book. Like it was a hard book, but I think it made me a better writer. And I just like, I think a lot of projects I do, I'm like, whenever I'm done with something, I'm like, how did I do that? And how do I do it again? It's like if you know, like the myth of Sisyphus, right? You push that boulder up the hill. It's the hardest thing ever. And then you do it, but then the boulder falls back down and you got to do it all over again. That's
Yeah.
kind of how writing is. But thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that.
So now you've been working with Jeremy Adams, right, for these
Yeah.
first like 9 issues. Starting next month, you're by yourself. How does that feel?
It's insane. It's exciting, scary as hell.
Why?
But
You're
also
doing a
just
fantastic job.
well, thank you. I just want to make sure I continue to do a fantastic job because now I'm top billed. You know, now it's just me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to keep this book afloat. But yeah, this is also the biggest book I've been on before. So there's a lot more eyes on me while I'm doing it, which is different than what I'm used to. And Green Lantern fans, you know, they're passionate, and I just I want to make sure everyone is happy with what I'm doing. So that's why it's nerve wracking. But I think that's also a good thing. It pushes you to do your best work. So, but I'm
That's
excited.
fair.
I think Jeremy really set me up well. Working with him was great, not just from the creative side, but like just learning how to navigate this industry differently than I knew beforehand. Because like things are just different when you're on a short 5-6 issue series. Like the attention to detail is different from a creative side, but also an editorial side. Like
Can you
the
speak to that?
schedule. Yeah, as much as I can, I'll try. Just like I think when you're on a short book or a miniseries, like you know the end when before you even start writing. At least you should,
Mm.
in my opinion. And you can know that on an ongoing too. But you know what I like to say about ongoings is it's an ongoing until it's not, right? So you may know what you want to do for the ending, but you may not have the time to set that up when you find out you're not going past a certain issue, you know? So
Oh, true.
it's kind of like I think I'm learning just like I'm staying maybe 5 or 6 issues ahead of what's out now and to keep that fluid because I'm a very like rigid writer, like I'm a meticulous outliner. And this book has taught me like how to be a little bit more fluid because you just especially like navigating the big like event stuff that may or may not affect your book. Like you got to be fluid to be able to pivot some of the ideas that you have to fit into some of the larger ideas of the universe. It's a balancing act for sure, but it's fun.
That's what I meant. I guess now this is one of the few times we've had this opportunity to ask because you said talking about balancing bigger things going on. So the Starbreaker supremacy, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even get the other run. Sorry. Apologies to the writer.
Sorry, not
So
sorry.
like
it's also Jeremy, which is funny.
my bad, Jeremy. But but like how was it balancing that? Because I don't think we've ever been able to really ask, like, how is it balancing like an event that happens across
Yeah.
multiple books?
So this
And
was easy, I'd say, because it was just Jeremy doing the other book. So like
Mhm.
we both live in LA, about 20 minutes from each other. So like we talk all the time. So having to kind of like, you know, navigate what's going to happen in this book, how does that going to affect the other book? Like that wasn't too difficult. And I'd also say like the first 9 issues of this book is really spinning out of a lot of the stuff that he set up in the main Green Lantern book too. So it was kind of already pretty going back and forth and collaborative even before the Starbreaker Supremacy started. That's really just kind of ending how these books are intertwined. So like now from 10 for me, and I think it's 28 for him, like the books are going to go their separate ways, and they may come back together at some point, but they're going to do their own things for a little bit. That makes sense.
yeah. So what do you have planned for this next story arc? You just said that you
Yes.
think 5 and 6 issues ahead, which by the way, I don't know if any other writer does that. Please do that. It's a full story arc. It sounds like it makes sense. Just it
Yeah.
sounds like it makes sense. But like, what do you
Yeah.
have planned without spoilers? What do you have
Yeah.
planned?
So yeah, without spoiling, what we've set up at the end of the Starbreaker Supremacy is that all the Lantern, or I'll say most of the Lantern cores, are now on Oa.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to protect myself and say I don't think that's happened before. I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened before, um, and that's exciting to play with because you know not all the cores have the same ideologies. They don't all get along. So it's
Mhm.
the Green Lanterns kind of extending their home out to everybody else, but there's going to be a lot of angst, I'll say, between the different cores as they kind of have these growing pains on what it's like to kind of live together. Aside from that, um, John Stewart. I don't think it was in Green Lantern Corps 9, but it was the one before that one in Green Lantern Corps. John Stewart sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
Um, he's dead, but like as you know, comic books go, he's not really dead.
Yeah.
Um, we
A
we
soap
we
opera if I've
pulled
never seen one.
Yeah.
exactly. We pulled from this Green Lantern run from a couple years ago by the writer of the name of Jeffrey Thorne. There we go. I was like, I almost forgot his name. He did a
Yeah.
Green Lantern 12 issue series with John and Joe were kind of the main characters of that. And at the end of that run, John Stewart splits himself into two, like perfect copies of himself. One goes back to stay a Green Lantern, and the other one goes to find his previously dead, or I guess still dead wife, Kat Matui from like the 80s. Um,
Mhm.
and but the way that worked was like there's the whole thing with like hyper time, and there's like copies of people out in the dark sector. So he wants to go find the copy of his wife. So we are bringing that John Stewart who split himself up and stayed back in the dark sector, and Kat Matui back to Oa. And what's really interesting for me, because I love doing character work, is like you now have a John Stewart who has a gap in like what his lived experience is, right? Like the John that
Mhm.
we've been following the past couple of years has been doing some really questionable things. He put his dead mother in his ring. He made a construct of his dead
Of
sister, who's now a Blue
Yep.
Lantern. Like he didn't, he sacrificed himself so he didn't have to reconcile with those decisions that he made. Now, the other John, who made the ultimate decision to split himself up, has to deal with all of that. And he doesn't know when any of it is
Mm.
coming when he gets back. So it's going to be interesting to see him navigate that. And aside from that, I will spoil this part a little bit. I'm not going to say too much, but I'm introducing a new villain that is going to kind
Mm.
of be in the thick of things as the different cores on Oa are kind of figuring themselves out. And I'm bringing back a lot of fan favorites, myself included, that I've always wanted to see done more properly and presently. So stay tuned for that as well.
Oh,
Mm,
that sounds dope.
right. He's like, let me just give you a little razzle dazzle.
Right?
Intrigued.
Some of
Okay.
this, some of this
Right?
is in the solicit. So I was just like, I'm jumping off of the solicit just a little bit.
No, because I definitely because it's at the end of issue 9. If y'all haven't read it, that's on y'all. But I
Yeah,
definitely was like, what in the heck is going on here? I was
Yeah.
like, didn't he? Okay. I love this the soap opera aspect of comics. Like we just don't let things die. We don't die, we multiply.
Soap operas with superpowers. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
We love to see it.
Okay, so
Period.
like if I can ask you, okay, so you have in certain places online where you've talked about like your childhood experience with like hemophilia, right? Um, how does your experience with that and disability like inform like your version of the Green Lantern universe?
Oh man, that's a good question. Never been asked that before, so that's great.
Period.
I think a thread that I can pull that's kind of tied to both is perseverance, or willpower, literal willpower. I think growing up with hemophilia, like, not only did that just inform my worldview, but it also informed. I think it's why I'm a writer, right? Like, there were so many things that I was told as a kid that I couldn't do, out of fear of
Mm.
for getting hurt. And for people that are listening, hemophilia is a bleeding disorder. I basically like to describe it as like I'm the opposite of Wolverine. Like, he heals from everything like instantaneously, and I don't heal from anything on my own, at least without the assistance of medication. So growing up, I was, I'm not gonna say forced to be in the house, but like I had a very cautious upbringing because everyone was always afraid I was going to get hurt and get seriously injured and be in the hospital. So I was overprotective is an understatement
Yeah.
from my upbringing. So that's kind of what made me gravitate towards comic books and TV and all that stuff, because it gave me a window into the world that was otherwise right there, but I couldn't go to. Um, but I think growing up with this, because you're born with hemophilia. So I don't know any different. I think I've had to just persevere through the challenges that I've had. And I think that's literally the most important thing about becoming a Green Lantern. That's what gets you the ring, right? Is the willpower you have to just get up every day. Going back to that whole myth of Sisyphus thing, right? Like, you may overcome the hardness of the day and then fall back at the base of the hill again when you wake up, and that's life. So I think that's the thread that I can tie between both of these things.
Mm.
LT says, sounds like the physical version of hyper empathy that Lauren Olamina experienced in Parable of the Sower and the sequel.
Yeah, I can see that.
Totally. He also
Yeah.
says, insightful. It's great to hear the intention behind character work. I'd be curious to hear what Morgan thought about John Ridley's character work with T'Challa during his run of Black Panther. LT in here trying to be messy, but we love it.
Right?
So what I was saying, this is a legitimate answer, and I was telling you guys this before we started this today. I am so behind on everything, so
Good answer.
I haven't even read it
That's a
yet.
great answer.
Yeah, that's an excellent answer. He said, I've been in the lab with a pen and a pad. Not reading right now, but that's
Right.
fair. You gotta let those creative juices continue to flow. Period. Okay, so my question for you is, now that you're like, it seems like you're very goal oriented and you're like, all right, I've done this, now let's get to the next thing. Like, you're constantly rolling that boulder up, letting it come down, and then doing it again. Now that you're like at such a high level with like such a big story and you're holding it on your own shoulders, are there other like, what is your like next big thing that you're like reaching towards in your career?
Yeah. Another great question. I'd say after this, like, because I don't even want to sugarcoat it. Like, this run that I'm on now, like, it's absolutely a test, right? Like, I gotta prove that they were right in investing in me. So if I can pass this
And they
test,
were,
And
period.
they were.
And they were, Morgan. We're speaking that into you, period.
thank you. Yeah, I think a reasonable short-term goal is I want to be on multiple books at DC. I think that would be cool. And they don't all have to be ongoing, but like, I think that just shows the level of trust that I'm trying to earn, is that other editors are gonna that that know that I can write, that they'll be able to trust that I can have both of these things on my plate, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, I want to do some creator owned stuff. at some other publishers. I think that's the next big jump. Obviously, I said I got my master's in TV writing and producing. I would love to have a career where I can do both that and comics, especially
Yeah.
on the money
Yeah.
side, because TV pays far more than comics ever will. Um,
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
um,
Rudlin, and there's a lot of people who are doing. Yeah, you better go ahead and get
yeah,
that check cut.
it's just tough right now with the film and TV industry is just really in a rough patch since honestly since COVID, but then the strikes didn't help too.
Yeah,
It's really, really hard to break in to film and TV right now. Like the whole old adage of like you got to know people, like that's the only way right now to do it is who you know and if they can advocate for you. So hopefully sooner rather than later, I can get there and do that. Especially with all the cross pollination of comics and TV and film too. Like almost everything on TV is an adaptation of a comic book these days. Um,
very true.
and then I think I want to have a character at DC or Marvel, but I'm going to say DC.
Mhm.
That I can have a real long, like lived in run on and
Yeah.
really flesh out and develop his character. Like I love what like Tom King gets to do with all of his characters. Like I want to do
True.
that. Like give me someone and then give me the runway to like really push that character forward. Like I did that with Cyborg, but I only had 6 issues. Like I would love to go back to Cyborg and do more.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
I'd say like I would love a long run with a singular character because as much as I love Green Lantern Corps, there's a lot of damn characters in this book, man. It's hard to service everybody, you know.
This is
Do
true.
you have a dream character for that run? Like, what's the dream character?
um,
Or is
it
there
is
like a
absolutely
pool?
yeah, it's absolutely a dream because like I don't know what's happening in the future with these characters, but I would love to do Static at some point. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
if and when that happens, like at DC or Milestone, like I just hope my name's in the hat at least, because that would be a full circle thing too. Like I broke in with the Milestone initiative, and then getting to come back and like put a stamp on a character like that I grew up watching and reading, like that would be great.
That
Period.
would be
Yes.
so dope.
LT
Yeah.
agrees. Yeah, that would. I listen. That's why I asked, "What's the dream?" Because we're gonna just put that out into the universe because you're putting in the work. You got the chops to do it. It makes
Yeah,
sense. It doesn't seem like a far-fetched thing to me. And you're like, when you understand the way the machine works, so you're like putting in the work now, so they know that that's something that you could be trusted with. Because that's to me, that's already clear. But obviously, I'm not an industry person just yet. Um, so yeah, I love that. Another thing that you mentioned had me thinking too, like in terms of like cross media and the way that these stories translate to the screen. What are your thoughts about the upcoming Green Lantern movie? Or is it a show or is it a movie? I can't remember.
it's a show. Yeah,
Mm.
a show on HBO. I'm very excited. Um, I'm very, very, very excited. Like I've enjoyed this, you know, jumpstart of the DCU that they've been doing with all the movies and shows, and I'm a fan of Aaron Pierre because who's not?
Period.
Um, I'm
Awesome.
very excited. I don't know. I know a little bit more than the public knows, but I don't know that much. So
Mhm.
like, I'm just excited to see what they do. But I like the people that are behind it. I know one of the showrunners is Damon Lindelof, who did Watchmen a couple years back, and I actually just rewatched Watchmen last week.
Man.
Um,
Oh,
Phenomenal show. Like no,
Yeah.
like all hits, no misses. Like so, like I trust him like spearheading this franchise. So I'm very excited. I'm trying to find a way to that premiere somehow. So if
yes.
I did that, that's another short term goal. Like if you see me at the premiere, I pulled some strings.
Well, you should be at that premiere.
Yes. And
Shoot.
if you find yourself with the ability to pull some strings for our little show, we would love to pull up on the red carpet, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of
Yeah.
our Delulu goals to be on somebody's red carpet. Period.
Mhm.
Period. We love that.
it's gonna
LT,
Oh,
happen.
so if you had Static, do you keep him a teenager or age him up a bit?
mm.
Man, I'm gonna give you the safe answer.
Okay.
And say that sounds like something that an editor would tell me and not ask me. So I don't know.
Morgan, you really did give us the most PC answer.
Go ahead with your media training. I appreciate that. All right. He said I'm not gonna give more than I'm supposed to.
Yeah, he's like, listen, I follow instructions really well. we on a mission right now. I love that.
Okay, well, I
Yes.
do have a question though. Speaking of the movie, because it's those stills that get me. I forget this man's name, but he's playing Guy Gardner, right? He has the bowl cut, and that bowl
Nathan
cut
Fillion,
like
yeah.
gets me every time. But in this run that you've been writing, Guy doesn't have a bowl cut. Is there a reason for it? Like y'all were like, no, we're not doing this.
No, I don't think he's had the bowl cut for a while in the comics. I want to say 10, maybe 15 years. I think it's something that again, that goes back to an editorial thing. Like, I feel like that's an editorial thing, being like, we need to move this character out of the 80s. What can we do to update his design? So I think that's what that came from. And I've been in a lot of meetings, particularly since I've been in Green Lantern Corps, with like DC higher ups, and a lot of stuff you hear about design for these characters is like, is there a functionality to it or for it? So like, I feel like for Guy to have a bowl cut in the year of our Lord 2025, like there would need to be some story function that could justify like why he has the bowl cut again. You know what I mean?
So wait, Morgan, I need you to help us understand why in publishing and in comics right now, everybody wants to give every black male character the Killmonger flop.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's worse, that or just like bald because you can't draw textured hair. You know, it's hard. It's rough out here.
That part.
I don't know. I wish we could get past it. It sucks though, because the Killmonger cut was a cool cut, and now like we hate seeing it.
It's been overdone now, and it wasn't always done well. That's the issue. Like, you know what I mean? And it's no respecter of persons or genders. They just were like, yeah, you know what looks cool? A haircut and dreads at the same time.
Because you're a badass.
Yeah.
It's how you signify badass.
Yeah, that's how you know it's hip hop.
Honestly, I think outside of the Killmonger cut, like, to be as politically correct as I can possibly be, I just think that, like, and this is not a mystery, but there's just not enough black people in comics.
Yeah.
Right. So you may be paired with an artist, and you would have to explain what a fade is, or explain what waves are, and like, reference images help. But like, sometimes it's not their lived in experience, so it's not something that they fully understand. And then the thing with comics too is comics moves really fast. Like it's almost impossible how anything ever gets published, if I'm being honest. So sometimes when stuff slips through the cracks, like skin tone, hair texture, it's not for lack of trying. It just sometimes means like there's too many things happening at once, and you couldn't get there in time to fix it. So not every black writer on a book that has a character with bad hair texture is like letting that happen. Sometimes it just happens, and you can't do anything about it.
That's good context to have. I know that, like I said, the nature of the beast is that, you have to stay in your lane and make sure that they cut the check, so you don't always get to influence like every aspect of it. I just was curious because we literally had, like, jokingly, because we understand, not everything is in your control, but it was just like, how did they get in this chokehold where they're like, this is what we're doing, not sure what to do with this hair, we're gonna make this and just change the color. Like, that's literally been the vibes. But
Bree had a 15-minute thesis, like, just
went
off on the Killmonger, but for very valid reasons. Like, it was great.
Part of it is because, like, once you see like the positive end and the skill sets that are there with certain artists, you kind of get spoiled, and you're like,
Stephanie,
there's other options. Like Aletha Martinez is right there. Like, what we doing?
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like all you had to do, and I just say that because I love her down. It really could be anybody, but I'm just like, all it takes is like, you would think like how you made a like clear choice to say, I'm going to take these steps to be better at my craft. Another artist could say, wow, it looks like you have a better grasp of doing textured hair. What could
Yeah.
I do to better represent this? But there's no like pressure or requirement or
Mhm.
level of importance put on it where they feel the need to do that. So we've seen some pretty sketch afro hair in certain stories, and it's like we take what we can get because we'd
Yeah.
rather have them with bad
Something.
hair and be in the story than to not be there at all. But it's also like you had help, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah. No, I hear you. I absolutely hear you.
Hold
my
on,
bad. That's like a
Stephanie.
soapbox issue for me.
That's okay. That's okay.
Stephanie Williams is in the chat. She is an IG.
Hey,
Hey, babe.
Steph.
Hey, boo.
And she said it'd be annoying. Wait,
Yes.
there was yeah. I was about to say what? Nope. My bad.
Oh my god.
Okay, one question I do want to ask because, and once again, new to actually wanting to understand the Green Lantern universe and
Yeah.
understanding that there are different lanterns. Um, and you said earlier that willpower is. Which lantern do you see yourself as, and which type of lantern do you like writing more?
Yeah. Definitely Green Lantern. I mean, I think everything's a spectrum, literally, right? With the emotional spectrum. But I think being a Green Lantern is like almost the ability to keep all of the emotions at bay, right? So it's if everyone is here, I would put the Green Lanterns like right here, right? So that's my answer for who I guess I would be. And I think especially on this run that I'm doing now, I really like the Blue Lanterns. I'll tell you something too, like the whole Ellie becoming a Blue Lantern. That's something that I had in my original pitch to Paul like last year before this book turned into this book, and I was like really happy that I was able to pay that off because there's something so interesting to me as like a sentient Green Lantern construct now has the ability for hope and has a Blue Lantern ring. Like that's really interesting. So that, and then I'd say an issue I was just writing the other day because again I'm a couple issues ahead. The Indigo Tribe lanterns are very interesting. They're compassion, but how they navigate compassion is very interesting to me.
Yeah, like it was in the last issue 9 where at first I was like, okay, I don't understand all of these and how they actually work together or like can work together, but it's the way they use
Yeah,
their emotion for the good of all people in the like, and seeing it like explained in the different panels helped me
yeah,
completely. Like I was like, how are these
and
red like hmm?
I was gonna say to go back to what you said too. Like they're not necessarily all for the good of everybody. That's what makes it
Ah,
interesting. You know what I
fair,
mean?
fair.
Um, and that's what'll make it kind of fun to see how they navigate now having to work together.
Yeah, because I can
Just,
only
you
imagine
know,
these red lanterns.
out of my selfish curiosity, like, are we gonna see any of the like Star Sapphire Core pop up in anything that you're doing?
Ah, you're gonna hate me. I can't say anything.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Just know that it's something that the girlies would love to see.
I hear you.
I mean, obviously it's Pink Right. You knew what you were getting into. We're looking
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Starfire
yeah,
Core or the Indigo Tribe. Like, give us
yeah.
girl power lanterns, you
Oh, you're
know.
definitely gonna get that.
Yeah.
Yes. Star
You did a
sapphires
really
are
good
just
job with Teen Lantern.
entertaining. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Teen Lantern, she's always been my baby. And seeing her like
Oh yeah.
get her shine.
She's she's been like she was a surprise for me because like I obviously knew who she was, but like working on her specifically in like issues 4 and 5, with her and Simon, like we really got to flesh her out. because like her origin story was very like sparse and there wasn't much to it, which I think is
Mhm.
fun because it gave us the room to expound upon it and add a lot of things. She's become one of my favorite lanterns to write. There's just something so fun about a kid who has immense power, you know, and responsibility.
Exactly. It's so fun. I'm sorry. Like,
And she's not even a teenager; she's still only 12. That's fun too, you
yeah.
know.
No, I love when stories do that to kids. It's like, yeah, we're gonna give you everything and like
Yeah.
figure it out. We love you though. Oh man. Yes, I
Raven agrees. Hey, Raven.
Raven.
LT shouting out Keisha's hairdo because it is possible to have both and have an undercut and still look dope without having the Killmonger flop.
Yes,
That's all I'm
agreed.
saying.
That is I need to see the full dissertation, Bree. We're gonna talk about hair.
My bad. I'm sorry. Raven says kids with powers are so fun. Strange Academy, Keisha. Yeah, we
Yeah. I
Keisha's
told
love
her
for
to read
Strange
Strange
Academy
Academy.
runs deep. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, she picked it up. Okay, period.
I love kids with just superpowers. All like
Yeah, I'm a
seriously.
big fan of. I don't know if you can see. I have the Avatar tattoo on my forearm.
Yo,
So again, kids with powers, right? So
Yeah.
period.
I love
Period. You know
Atlas so
what?
much.
You a real one for that.
Yeah.
You a real one for that. Okay, we want to
Yeah.
make sure that we're being respectful of you and your time because we really appreciate you coming through. I'd love to give you the opportunity to like shameless plug yourself. Like, what do you have going on? What books? Where are your books at? Where can people pick them up? Are you going to be at any upcoming events? Like, where can people follow you on social media? All of the things.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of what we're talking about. Green Lantern Corps #10 comes out next month. I think it's November 11th. No, it's November 12th. The trade, though, the first trade for our run with issues 1 through 5 comes out the day before on the 11th. So two
Mm.
things you can pick up early November from me. Um, and I'd say specifically with Green Lantern Corps issue to issue, I mean, I feel like everyone in here probably reads comics, so you understand the importance of like pre-ordering. That's like
Yeah.
the lifeblood of a book is through pre-orders, right? So pre-orders for Green Lantern Corps #10 close. Final order cutoff is on Monday, the 20th. So
Period.
Y'all
that's
better
the
do
best
it.
way to support. You know, I know everyone, especially like my friends and family who aren't super into comics. They're just like, well, yeah, can I just go pick it up from the shop? Like you can, and that is helpful. But like pre-orders also tell the publisher like how many people are really into this book, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, pre-order if you can. I know it's rough out here for everyone, myself included. So I'm gonna do my best to keep the book as good as it can be, so you can justify spending what is it, $4.99 every month on it. And yeah, that's the main things. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't know if it's linked on here, but it's Millennial on
It's gonna be
every
in the
social media
description.
platform possible. I'm going to be Columbus, Ohio in early December for Columbus, Ohio Comic Con. I don't know what it's called. I think it's Fan Expo. I think it's Fan Expo Columbus is what it's called. So catch me there if you're in Columbus or in Ohio. And yeah, I mean, you said Steph was in the chat, so I'm going to shout out all her books: Roots of Madness, Street Sharks, Temporal. My friend Jordan Clark, who I went to the Milestone Initiative with, has Ancestral Recall coming out right now. And another friend, Henry Barajas, has Death to Pachuco coming out through Top Cow at Image. So yeah, check all those out if you have the room in your pool list.
The way that
So
those are
yeah,
all on my
Bree,
pull
yeah,
list.
yeah.
Period.
Bree already told
great,
us about how
great.
amazing Ancestral Recall is.
Please
Like,
tell your friend that my flabbers were gasted. I was fully gagged and fully sat at Ancestral Recall, and I love that it takes place in the Bay because that's where I'm at. So,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
you're in the Bay?
yes,
I used to live in the Bay for like 7 years.
period. So you know the vibes, you know the
Yeah,
energy.
that's cool.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. So
all of the
this has
things.
been right. This has been amazing. We wish you just all the success
But
for
but the
taking
real
on this.
all of the success, all of the things we're putting it out into the universe, that everything that you're working towards and asking for is coming to you with
It
the
will
vigor
happen.
and energy and money that you deserve.
Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate
that
you.
part.
Period.
Heavy on the
Also,
money
Really
you
it wouldn't be
deserve.
me if I wasn't ridiculous and was like, when we get into our Green Lantern shenanigans, because we're digging deep into the lore, can we have you back to shoot the shit a little
Absolutely.
bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime. Anytime.
Period.
All
All
right,
of the things.
we have so much to read now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts, but we're doing it. This is what we love.
Oh, where should we start?
Yes,
Like,
where would you
yeah,
recommend?
Oh
So,
yeah.
fun fact, I will confess here that while I did buy the books because they had Joe and Teen Lantern in them, I have not
Yeah.
read them. My collecting is kind of
I get
chaotic
you.
right now. So the only
I
Green
understand.
Lantern that I have read is Sojourner, because I'm a
Hmm.
Far Sector is my absolute favorite, hands down.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to dip my feet into the depths of this Green Lantern lore, where would you recommend that I start, with the understanding that my favorite thing about comics, my collection is centered around women of color in comics, and I know that there's only so much of that, and that I do
Yeah.
need to read more to get full context. So yeah, all of those things. But where should I start?
Yeah. I think the easiest place to start for anyone trying to get into the mythos of Green Lantern and all of that would be like the Jeff Johns run from the mid to late 2000s,
Mm,
because that run is what introduced the whole emotional spectrum. It didn't really exist in the same context that it does now before that. So like the
okay.
Blue Lanterns, the Yellow Lanterns, all that like kind of started there. So I think since that's kind of a jumping on point for all the different cores, it would be good for you to jump on there as well, because you already have an understanding of what the Green Lantern core is, but this is kind of getting you in at the ground level with everyone else, if that makes sense. And then I think to go back a little bit further, the Kyle Rayner run from the '90s was great. Um, really, 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 really good. I think it stands the test of time. Daryl Banks was the artist, a black artist, which is to this day still unheard of, but like especially in the '90s, like it was few and far between. So like I think that's a good run to start as well. But definitely the Jeff Johns run from the mid to late 2000s.
You
all right.
understood the assignment because you knew exactly what to say to get me onto that. Period.
The way I
Yes.
have, we're, I got it written down. We're good to go now.
Yeah, when you find all the Jeff Johns stuff, it's like it's gonna be heavy. It's like
Yeah, I've
three or
seen
four
that book.
omnibuses.
It's
Yeah, it's a
massive.
lot. It's a lot.
If you were
Okay.
looking
It's
at a book to sniff, Brie, it's a massive
big.
book.
So you look at
It
me, I
is.
immediately was like, it's sounding more and more like I'm gonna have to invest in the DC equivalent app so that
Yeah.
Oh, right.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
dig deep in the lore. See, I'm trying to do
Another
better.
thing, another thing too, like not to take money away from DC, but like if you have like a library card, a lot of this stuff you can get on like Libby or what's the other one? Another like virtual
Blah.
Hoopla
library. Yeah, Hoopla. There we
and
go. Like
Comics
so, like
Plus.
Yeah.
so, like yeah. If your wallet is not happy with spending all the money on all these comics, like definitely utilize your library card.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh.
It's not that it's that, it's just more like we're both on this mission of trying to be more intentional about like what we're
Yeah,
adding to our collection.
I
And
hear
my
you. Yeah,
collection is like women of color in comics. So while I
yeah,
want to know like the backstory and like dip myself into the lore, it still like doesn't go with what I'm building in my personal collection. You know what I mean?
yeah. That
So
makes sense. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, okay. So this cover now makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, yeah,
I was trying to figure out for the longest. I was like, why is this so colorful? I was like, all right, I guess it's
Mhm.
for pretty. Now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read it. I'm excited
Yes.
to learn more about Green Lantern. And yeah, definitely. You're gonna come by again and we'll like shoot the shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm here
DC.
for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Period.
this is
Thank you
gonna be
so much
awesome.
for coming through. We really appreciate you and your time, man.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
See you
Later.
next time. Bye.
All right, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody with a body. Morgan Hampton.
Yeah.